Let's talk about the timescales needed for visualizations. When I asked people in the construction and civil engineering industry how long they thought different types of visualization would take for their projects, some folks' estimates were wildly off. The visuals I produce are very pretty, meticulously accurate and incredibly useful, but not nearly as time-consuming, and therefore not nearly as expensive as some people think. It's almost taboo in our industry to put actual numbers out there. But here's the thing, when we're all in the dark about timescales, it's harder to program, budget, harder to justify costs to clients, and harder to make smart decisions. Today I am pulling back the curtain. I'll break down real timescales for 3 types of visualization: finished site animations, before and after comparisons, and step-by-step construction phasing. My goal? To give you the transparency you need to confidently pass proposals to your clients and to help you plan your projects with clarity. No more guesswork, no more awkward conversations. My name's Rich, owner and founder of Skythorn Studios Technical Visualization. Let's dive in. First up, we have the finished site visualization. This is your polished photorealistic rendering of what the project will look like when it's all done. Think of it as the after photo in the home makeover show, but on a bigger scale. To create an animation for a small project, by civil engineering standards, a single building, a road junction, or environmental restoration project, expect about 10 days of work. That gets you around 2 minutes of animation around the main focus of the project, integrated with background mapping, as well as on-screen overlays, and a gallery of still images. If you have a larger, more complex project with more components on screen, a project which requires lots of specific views or covers a larger area, there's more work involved. The key here is detail. The more you want to show, the longer it will take. Next, we have the before and after comparison. This is a fantastic way to show the transformation your project will bring. It's not just about the final product, it's about the journey and the impact the project can have on local communities. Equally, if you're optioneering with alternatives you're looking to present to stakeholders, letting them see each design in context can be a game changer for their understanding of what you're planning. There are some clever methods we can use to show the before and after views and alternative designs, either sequentially through animation, where there's the big swoosh of a reveal, or if your project has a website, something like I have on the homepage of Skythorn Studios, you can slide between different views simultaneously. These can be great to set up at town hall style meetings and let people control what they see for themselves. Creating the before site is where the additional time is needed. For a small project like in the previous example, I'd expect it to take around 15 days of work all in. Optioneering with a couple of moderate changes, also about 15 days. Now the big one, the gold standard, step-by-step construction phasing. This is where you show how the project will come together over time. It is incredibly useful for planning, stakeholder updates, and keeping everyone in a complex project team aligned. Seeing the full picture at every step of the way can bring insights to buildability and site resilience, which otherwise you might have missed until you're already on site with machines sitting waiting, a very, very expensive problem. There are 3 approaches. First, the Genie, where components pop into place. This is the simplest method and has the fastest turnaround. Next, the simulator, where machines and personnel install components. This is great for logistics planning and external engagement. Then we have the hybrid, a mix, where we show detailed construction simulation in a few examples, then use the Genie for the rest. I found most clients opt for the hybrid approach, splitting the construction phases that we see into manageable chunks. On a small-ish project, probably around 10 steps. On something larger with more components, we could easily be talking over 100. All of these are very much possible, it's just the timescales which change. A realistic animation with moving machinery is far more compelling than static images or components just popping into place. It's not just showing the what, it's showing the how, and your clients will thank you for it. The level of detail you want to show is the big factor behind the variation in the cost for construction phasing visualizations. Using that same example of a small site, I would expect a Genie approach construction phasing with 10 animation steps to take around 15 days. To simulate each step, we're looking at more like 25. A hybrid approach, something like 20 days of work. For a larger site or one with temporary works, the timescales increase. To summarize, for our smallish project, to show the finished site, about 10 days of work. To show before and after views or optioneering, 15 days of work. Construction phasing with the hybrid approach, 20 days of work. Remember, all of these are ballpark figures, but the timescales for comparable projects won't be half that, and they certainly won't be double. The total turnaround time would include time for review and 2 rounds of feedback. The 10-day project would likely take a total of 15 days from start to finish. Now, I very much like making money, but I bet your project budget is tight. So how can you keep timescales speedy and therefore keep costs down? First, start with the basics. If you only need a few key images or a short animation for a pitch, don't overcomplicate things. I won't be offended if you're only looking for some simple visuals. We can always come back and look at the fancy stuff in later stages. Next, reuse assets. If you have existing federated models like in Navisworks, 3D models from AutoCAD or Revit, 2D CAD drawings or even PDFs, I can import them directly into my visualization models, saving time and money. The absolute best ones for me are IFC compliant BIM models. If you have those with construction phasing and material data, well, you're my new best friend, and we can absolutely speed through large parts of the process. Animations can also be synced with project management tools like Synchro and Primavera. Next, get specific. If you have a vision for your project, I'd love to hear about it. A storyboard for an animation or a specific showstopper of a view that you know you'd love to see. Visualizations work best when they're collaborations, and you're welcome to sit in the director's chair. I know talking about timescales can feel taboo in our industry, but I believe transparency is the best way to build trust with our clients and each other. When you know what to expect, you can budget smarter, communicate better, and ultimately deliver more value. Everyone wins. So let's keep the conversation going. Are you surprised by the timescales involved? Did you have very different numbers in your head? Let me know in the comments or drop me a message on LinkedIn or via email. And if you found this helpful, please do like and share with your network, and you, me, and Skytone Studios can make something incredible together.